or maybe you recognize yourself more in just realizing you've placed expectations on friends to fill needs that are beyond what any person can fill and haven't just been grateful. And anyway, I just wanted to get up here and say, if you have felt like, oh, you have not been a perfect friend, I want to remind you that makes you a candidate to be a perfect friend. Because you're not perfect. And if you can really, I want to encourage you to give yourself grace for not being a perfect friend, because then you will give others grace when they're not perfect friends to you. Because, you know, friendship, I've kind of, this may make no sense to you whatsoever, but it makes sense to me. I think of perfect people kind of like Teflon. You know, they're really shiny and really slick and everything, but it's just like, it doesn't stick. It's like things just slide off. You can kind of feel like you're kind of close, but really just there's no connection really. But imperfect people are more like Velcro. They're kind of loopy maybe, just a little bit, you know, kind of full of some holes and collect a little lint and dust along the way. But once they connect, there's just nothing that'll pull you apart. And that is why an imperfect person makes a perfect friend. So if you recognize that you haven't been a perfect friend, then the first thing I want you to do is be a friend to yourself. Give yourself grace. Forgive yourself. Just say, God, I recognize I haven't been a perfect friend. I know that except by your grace, I can't be. And so would you forgive me, and then would you fill me with your love and your grace that I may give it to others. I'm so glad that God put his grace, not only, of course, in the body of Jesus, but I'm so glad that Jesus calls us the body of Christ, because I do know that Jesus loves me, but I have needed Jesus with skin on. And even more specifically, I have really needed Jesus with skin on with estrogen. This little snuggie down here is it symbolizes to me, and I think it always will. Probably snuggies won't be around forever, but I think I'll always keep one, because it reminds me of the grace that I received from Mandisa's snuggie arms. Because when she embraced me with this grace in these snuggie arms, I am now able to embrace someone else with the grace that I have received. And to me, that is friendship for grown-ups. There's someone I have already sensed that you have embraced with grace, and we certainly have, and you are going to even more so after she shares with you her closing takeaway comments. Would you welcome back Brenda Warner?
God for someone ugly, and got Kurt Warner. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Are you going to remember that my life's been hard? I shared my story of Zach with you. And a few years ago, I wrote a letter on behalf of Zach to the world. And I'm going to try and get through it for you. Dear world, I don't know you, but I want to. I love meeting new people who soon feel like friends to me. I don't like everyone, though. I don't like people who are so busy and hurried. They squeeze by me in doorways or rush by my shoulder to get somewhere. I don't see you coming, because my eyes don't work. Please just slow down. Slow down and you can smell the coffee at Starbucks on every corner. That's what he calls it. Slow down and you can hear the baby laughing in the stroller. It will make you smile, I am sure. Slow down and you can see me. I can't see you, but I don't care. See, friend, when I was born, I could see. And something bad happened to me. And now I don't see so well. My mom cried a lot. I think she thinks my life would be better if I could see. But really, I'm happy being me. I wake up with no worries, not like my sister who worries about pimples, boyfriends, and college exams, or my dad who has to go to work every day so he can bring home money to buy me another radio, or even my mom who worries about looking older and being fat. I love them all for who they are inside of all that. The best thing about being me is that I don't see if you are fat, old, ugly, rich, or poor. I just like you. I want you to know that sometimes things happen that shape our world. We need each other. I need someone to make my meals for me and lay out my clothes for the day. Some people need someone to give them $1 to make ends meet. There are some who need a hug because something bad happened. Slow down to see or feel what someone needs. One day you are the person who gives. One day you might be the person who needs. Remember me when you want to give up. Remember I didn't. Remember me when you think life is hard. Remember my life is. Remember me when you want to hurry through life. Remember me and slow down. Love, Zach. Life is hard. We need to be tough. We need to be tough, like United States Marine Corps issued combat boots. They don't come with red socks, by the way, I added that. We need to be tough. These boots are meant for war. Life is war sometimes. But keep in mind that we also have to be flexible. Are you ready? I know, everybody's like, oh, well, what's she gonna do? Be flexible. And know that life's gonna hit you with things. What you gonna do about it? He is one call away. Help me welcome Sandi Patty!
Brenda Warner. So Brenda, when we get to heaven, I'm gonna need my body back. Oh, you all thought it was yours. No, it's mine. You know, we have 2 more conferences left in this year, and we've had an amazing year. But there are 2, one group and one sweet lady, that this is their last conference. And on behalf of all of us, this is their last conference this year. Would you please just help us say a very big thank you to Selah and Catherine Everett. Love you guys. We need a new perspective sometimes, and I got to talk to you a little bit about that today. It reminded me of a kind of a humorous story. We have some dear friends in Oklahoma City, Trent and Ginger. And we were visiting with them one day, and they began to share with us this unusual story. Trent and Ginger and their children had gone to their father's home, and they live on a big farm. And Trent, who's usually like Tigger and really just kind of full of bouncy life, this particular day, he was just laying around, oh, I just don't feel well, something is just off. I don't know what is the matter with me. I'm cold one minute, I'm happy one, then I'm sad, and then I'm more... And he just didn't know what was going on. It was very uncharacteristic of Trent. Well, they went home that evening, and again, uncharacteristically, he drew himself a very big bubble bath. And he was just laying in the bubble bath, and his wife Ginger came in, and she began to giggle. And she said, Trent, I think I have figured out what's going on with you the last couple of days. She had noticed something that had stuck to his abdomen. And apparently, in the previous night, marital fellowship, her hormone patch had gotten transferred to him and it was stuck on him. I know! And he definitely got a new perspective those couple of days. Well, I'm not necessarily recommending that, but I think that sometimes when we see things through God's eyes, we can see things through new eyes and get a different perspective. And it's not that God has said no to our dreams. It's just that he has said yes to a dream for us that we can't see yet. We have to tell our stories, because when we tell our stories of God's faithfulness in the past, it lets us stand with confidence and assurance that he is faithful today and he remains faithful for tomorrow. I wanted you to wish very much that you would take home with you today the fact that maybe you feel like you're on the edge of disappointment and despair, but just maybe if you see it through different eyes, I wish for you to see that you are on the edge of something divine. And the last thing that I wish for all of us as we leave this place is that we will know that in God's eyes, we are enough. Please keep your hands going and welcome Marilyn Meberg.
The next time someone says to you, "Aren't you ever satisfied?" you can know in your heart that it is fair to say, "No." And furthermore, I never will be fully satisfied. It isn't your fault, dear husband. It isn't your fault, house that needs to be bigger. It isn't your fault, car that needs to go faster. It is the state of life. But the good thing is, one day we will be fully satisfied. Now give yourself a break. Now there is this one thing that I want to really underscore. You're going to have cravings the rest of your life. You may have the same craving. I have a craving for Ken Meberg. I crave just curling up with him and talking, chatting. I want to talk to him about our kids. Our son, who is also older than I, Patsy. He's 47. Our daughter, Beth, is 43. And they have done so well. Our daughter was a single mom for 10 years with great kids. Just this last July, remarried a wonderful man. Our son Jeff just perseveres in a project that he's been working on for 10 years, and it's about to come to fruition. Talk about determination. Ken, they've got good genes. You remember your grandfather when he came away over to from Norway? Oh, well, yeah, shoot back there. All these wonderful contributions. I wish you knew. I wish we could talk about it. I don't crave a new husband. I crave Ken Meberg. But one day, he and I are going to eat chocolate together. And we'll be satisfied. Now, let's talk of all satisfaction that our dear friend, Patsy Clairmont.
If I could give you a prescription to take home, it would be a reminder. It would be this, that prayer matters, and that people matter, and that change can be good. You may go home and find that your children have moved the furniture. You may go home and find that your husband lost his job. I don't know what will happen in your world, but I do know this, that there will be change. There's no way to get around it. And sometimes change comes packaged in ways we hadn't anticipated, like abrupt doctors. You know, she went from abrupt to amazing in my estimation, and did that very quickly. My son came home from the hospital. It'll be 2 years, December 1st. 3 weeks later, my husband was rushed into the hospital by ambulance and had to have heart surgery. And while my son and I were standing in the hallway of the hospital, here came Dr. Amazing. She came walking down and she saw me and she said, "I remember you. You're that little inspirational speaker." She said, "You must have got a kick out of me." And she said, "Honey," I said to her, "Honey, I got more than a kick out of you." I said, "I've gotten down on my knees every day since I met you, and thank God for you." She looked at me and she went, yeah. And she looked at my son. She said, "You come with me." And then she looked at me and she said, "And don't you worry about him. He'll find you." And off they disappeared down the hall. I didn't know where they had gone, but it wasn't too long before my son found me, just like she said. And when he got there, I said, what happened? He said, she took me to the floor where she worked. She called out her staff of doctors, and she pointed to me, and she said, and this is why we never give up. May I say to you ladies, don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. You don't know what God's up to, but he's up to something. And I know the bottom line is good. So don't ever give up. I'm not. And one way that I keep myself in condition so I don't ever give up is I get those shackles off my feet, man, Lisa. Can you